let's touch on the environmental effects of AI, because from the beginning until now, we assume that everything is going to be fine, right? We're going to have electricity, we are going to have all the resources to continue as we do in the next few decades. But the situation in the world right now is like really unstable, and the resources are becoming more scarce, more harder to access. And on the other hand, AI data centers is, building and scaling, and it's using a massive amount of resources, whether it's energy, whether it's water, whether it's the ships and the rare mineral, rare earth. So what do you see the future of AI going forward? Is it going to be not limited by the technological advancement, but rather limited by the resources it needs to operate and develop? What's your take on this? Maybe Cole can go first.
Whether you believe or not, like because of those kind of stuff, like resource, right, the energy, everything. So right now, climate change is a thing, right? Everybody talking about it. I think it's a climate change is a better like kind of like getting into the geopolitical warfare, right? So resources are limited. Of course, like nobody, like every household cannot own an electric car. We don't have enough lithium for every household to have a car. Even though like they have it, what is the efficiency of the yield or like recycling of it? Maybe we can like scavenge back to like 70 to 60 to 70%. Like that's it. So that mean like it gonna if the resource is scarce, that mean like it gonna be reduced and reduced. But this year they can produce 1 million EV car. Next year it can produce only 60 to 70% of it. Because it's got, if we extract all the lithium from it, right? So it became a geopolitical war. Right. So whoever own like more resource might be like targeted by other people who are looking for it. Right. So that's also one of the main concern that we have to talk about it. So another thing is the energy use, the carbon emission, right?
Yeah.
So even though the climate change because it happened because of the industrial revolution, like those kind of stuff, but also energy use is one of the factors contributing to the like global warming, like climate change and stuff. So if you think about it, if you don't control the technology, you are kind of like losing it, right? Compared to other countries. So there will be kind of like dilemma in my mind, like should we focus on the technological advancement or should we take care of the earth? Like, but it's not dilemma in my mind. Like, if I were them, I would save the earth. We only have one earth. Like, no, no, we don't have a spare earth for it. Yeah. That's my take. So we have to be control of using it. Also, government also have to have a like policy for the risk that they're gonna be encountered because of this like changing trend of AI and what kind of resource they needed. So they need to have a like that kind of a risk like mitigation, strategy for every outcome that will be coming. Yeah.
To me, is the resource allocations and electricity generation. That's my take. Data center use a lot of electricities.
Yeah.
And a lot of data center move to Thailand because electricity is cheaper now. In Malaysia used to be a bit more cheaper. Now they just increase the price. So now Thailand is one of the cheapest in the region right now. They move here. Infrastructure is also quite good. Internet is also fast, so it makes no sense. But I also see that we need to do a proper resource allocations. So data center generate a lot of heat also. But Thailand is a very hot country. The heat is not usable. You have to pump it back to the the atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
The most expensive, the most extensive use of electricity is cooling.
Cooling. Yeah.
Because the cooling tech we have is, I would say, level 2. It used to be white like a water spray cooling. Now is about the liquid cooling. Now we are going to the cooling of like sink cooling. Stay liquid, but like you are sinking everything in the liquid. So like we are going to the next other stage is less and less energy now, but still use a lot of energy. But what if these heats can be used in the right place? So I think like for if you are in Europe or North America where the weather is very cold, they have to create situations where electricity is cheap enough and the cooling is good enough, and you can use this heating for the home heatings.
Yeah.
For when they have in the winter, right? So I think it has to be a resource allocation, not just on the fact that you come to the round places because this place is cheap. That's the round kind of exploitation. It's like people come to poor country, right? Because the currency is stronger, the salary is higher, and they do all the crazy stuff. It doesn't make sense. So it's just you're not the right person to you're not contributing anything for society. So I think this kind of allocation has to be made. So this require like international collaboration, not just like one government or one country collaboration. I think it has to do it with the one who you talk about, like carbon credit mechanism, climate change, and having a agreed consensus that everyone
Yes.
work on like energy, heating, electricities, and carbon.
I think you brought up a very good point here, Alka, is we are racing towards nothing.
Mm,
We are racing towards generating this super intelligence that we think is going to help us
mm,
exponentially increase production, GDP, whatever, right?
yeah,
But nobody has a real roadmap or a development track even to that point. So basically, we're just chasing numbers. We're just chasing the benchmarks numbers.
yeah,
Okay, this model comes out, it's better. This model comes out, it got a higher score.
mm,
You don't rarely even know what that means or how does that translate to actual usage or utility in the real world.
mm,
So basically, we're just having a limited candle. That's Earth,
mm,
and we're lighting it on fire, and we're
mm,
just trying every way we can to make the flame grow brighter
Mhm.
without even using the heat. Right? And we're just
mm,
trying to burn the candle down as fast as possible and then racing towards like an annihilation, basically. So instead of that, why I think we need to take a step back and ground ourselves, our expectation in reality of what AI can do,
mm,
of what AI can improve and generate, right?
mm,
And that should be the goal and the limiter also for who
mm,
can expand the data centers or using resources by how much
yeah,
in relation to the output,
mm,
actual useful output, not just numbers,
yes,
right? So that people will start to race towards generating models or I don't know, man, even new technologies, adjacent technologies that will help utilize it in the real world.
yeah,
It will be a different path. We will be on an entirely different path, right? And that way, we can issue out like quotas and tickets for, okay, you need to achieve this level of utilization or usefulness, basically, before you can expand further and use more of the resources.
right,
And you also have to take care of your emission, of your recycling, of your waste management. Everything should be considered together, right, as a criteria for expansion or scaling.
yes,
Because otherwise, we're just racing to annihilation,
yes.
basically, right? That's my take on it, I think.
Yeah, I just want to add a little bit more because ethics and regulations.
Yeah.
I don't think we have enough of these regulations there yet.
Yeah.
But it happens so quickly, especially for the developing countries. It takes forever to draft a law. So because they have no idea also how to respond also.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a gold standard at the moment coming from the EU.
Mhm.
They have an AI law to regulate for the AI market. So I think it's similar. I mean, it's like a good example. Like when we started the GDPR, right? GDPR, PDPA it was the model after the GDPR policy for the Personal Data Protection Act. And then now the company cannot sell the data anymore to the clients because they have to protect the customer data.
Yeah.
So I think they have that good gold standard law for the AI. I think we have to expand further and regulate it further. Um, so like it's like similar to Web3 and crypto industry, right? People start to regulate it. It happened. At the end, eventually it will happen. But I think right now it's just happened too quickly. People are like stay waiting and learning and how to respond.